Hello, this is Steve Sessions, CEO of the Sessions Group. We're here at World Headquarters, and this is a special treat today. We're going to have videos specifically on forensic engineering. And so we're going to have two speakers with us today. One is Jerome Self, and the other is Liberty Lewis. And they work for a great company called SBSA, which their focus is on engineering, specifically on forensic, structural, and rehabilitation. And the owner of the company, Ed Fernafel, is also a professor at the University of Denver, where I also teach. So it's just a great pleasure to be here with you today and with Liberty. And so what we're going to talk about today is planning for future repairs and replacements for HOAs. And this is a manager's imperative, okay? So this video, okay, will cover reserve studies and how that will benefit HOAs, and go into real detail about how these things come about and their useful life. And the main thing what HOA these reserve studies do is they provide the board and they provide its members with options, and also the necessary funds that are going to be coming forth in the future. So with that, Jerome, why don't we go ahead and start. Again, welcome, glad you're here.
Thanks, Steve.
And so I'm going to ask you a specific question. I'm going to read this, okay? It says, we know homeowners lean on their property managers to help preserve property values by ensuring that the common areas and shared assets are maintained to the highest standards. How can they take steps to plan for impending capital projects as common area components like fencing, decks, playgrounds, swimming pools, etc., as they become obsolete? So if you'd address that question, I think it'd really be helpful to our listeners.
Right, well, the simple answer is to have a reserve study performed. A reserve study provides the best long-term planning and budgetary tool that a homeowners association has. It can not only help address their immediate concerns, but also their mid and long-term concerns as well. So that usually gives the association their best bet, really, to plan long-term for the future in regards to these components.
So, Jerome, is this a yearly process, or every couple years, or 5 years? Or explain just a little bit more as to a reserve study and kind of the time component that we're dealing with here.
Right, we typically recommend every 3 to 5 years to have a reserve study either performed or updated if one has been done previously. We're starting to see some, the winds of legislation come down the pike. I think a lot of managers are probably already aware of this, and if they're not, they should be. Where we're seeing that reserve studies will become mandated, and they will set the time frame, and they're looking at anywhere from 2 to 5 years in that frame. So we're kind of in line with that, with what we recommend.
Okay. So what else should we know on this initial video about the reserve studies? What else should we know about?
Well, again, reserve studies are a tool that associations can use for budgeting purposes. What we're seeing now, in fact, I'm running into a lot of associations recently that are older in age, and I'm surprised that they've never had a reserve study performed. I mean, properties that have existed since the late 70s, early 80s. They've had kind of a loose capital expenditure plan that's very rarely followed, but they've never had a specific reserve study performed. And I think really what that does is it gives them their best tool to avoid the pitfalls of not having these components maintained and prepared for in the future.
Excellent. All right, well, let's go ahead and we'll conclude on this video right now, and we'll pick it up on our next video. Okay, but I think that's a good introductory as to reserve studies and the importance that HOAs have. So stay tuned for our series of videos here. And again, if you have any questions specifically that you want to address to SBSA or to the Sessions Group, go ahead and email or call on the phone number below. Again, Steve Sessions with the Sessions Group at World Headquarters. Talk to you soon.